Welcome to another edition of Expert Talks by Kalkine TV. I'm Sage. Today's guest is Vilma Mattila. She's the co-founder and CBO at Fiverr. I hope I'm saying that right. I'll have to get her to tell me in a moment. So Fiverr is a fifth generation blockchain with a mission to bring a shift from for-profit to a for-benefit economy. I like the sounds of that. And here to tell us more about what they do is Vilma Mattila, co-founder and CBO at Fiverr. Hi Vilma, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you so much. Pleasure to be here.
And please help us, how do we say your innovative business name?
It's Fire.
Ah, right, like fire, like the fire that glows and creates heat. I get it.
Yes.
Very clever. Thank you for that. So we're so glad that you could join us today because this business sounds really innovative and it sounds like it's got a heart of gold. So Firechain recently signed an MOU for smart policying with a state government of India department. Additionally, the company has also signed an MOU with the Nigerian government and the state of Nebraska, USA. So it sounds like you've been very busy. What follows ahead of these ventures, please?
Yes, so what we are currently doing in India, US, Nigeria, and a few other countries is putting the data of arms licensing as well as criminal cases on blockchain to enhance the national security and have more transparent network of cross-border understanding of the criminal status of the cases. This means that previously between cities and between states, there was not communication between the criminal cases because they couldn't access each other's databases. Therefore, we solved that problem, which means that now in national level, they can access to the same information that in municipal level, as well as they can communicate between nations, respect arm licensing and respect criminal cases from now on forward, as well as for the past 20 years due to the fact that we have traced from documented files and digitalized them.
Amazing. What a clever use of blockchain, because no matter what country you're in, I think there's always that gap between what's going on in the municipalities and the state government. So amazing that you are finding a way to close that gap. And I'd love to hear more about where the spark of inspiration came from. I bet there's a story behind this. If you have time, could you tell us about the reason why you co-founded this venture?
Yes, because we acknowledge that there is lack of accessibility to technology, accessibility to technology that can be implemented in an easy and no-code way, which means that governments will not need additional technology team to implement our technology. It's just plug and play. And in addition to that, we wanted to help in the next 3 to 10 years, 1 billion people. And if you don't operate in a technology framework that is transparent for everyone, it's very difficult to make that happen. And therefore, one of the reasons we also started Fire is enhance the sustainability of technology. Therefore, instead of storing the data in data centers, we enable users around the world to store their own data, which means that first time, instead of corporations storing data in one place, now they can distribute that data and the users get paid for sharing the data, for storing the data.
Amazing. That sounds like it aligns with the true ethos of blockchain, this open source, transparency, trustless environment, and it's being applied in such an important way. Gun control. In your opinion, what are the most optimum ways to make blockchain more sustainable and accessible, please?
Yes. So first of all, building user interfaces that are simple for everyone. So as easy as sending a message on Messenger, we have made it one button, no code infrastructure so that everyone can use it. Secondly, changing the algorithms of consensus to not be incentivized by, for example, in our case, by sustainability. In other cases, such as Bitcoin or Ethereum or other consensus methods, is incentivized by energy usage, which is definitely not sustainable. Therefore, moving from incentivizing from people of using energy to different type of incentivization models, which in our case is the more good action, the more sustainable action that enterprise is taking right now, more rewards they get. Therefore, the payment fees of our clients goes to those clients whose companies are currently most sustainable in the industry, which means that we rank their public operations, which is already publicly reported data, and we make an index in order of how sustainable they are, and we reward them for being sustainable, including giving carbon tax exemptions.
Wow, that's amazing. So you are a woman co-founder, quite a unique breed in blockchain. There's not many, although they do exist. Great to see. There are hundreds of blockchain solutions out there in the market. However, only a handful do see real success and growth. In your opinion, what are the key ingredients of a successful blockchain, apart from sustainability, as that's so important, you're already going down that path? And could you please also share your journey as a woman founder in blockchain?
Yes, I think tips for success would first of all be finding a problem that is expensive enough to affect at least 500 million to billion people, such as, for example, in our case, is identity payment solutions for those that are unbanked, as well as data storing. And secondly, having either already existent clientele from your previous ventures or having a clientele that are capable to afford the cost that your enterprise or operations require, or having a clear understanding on how much the competitors need to change to be able to play at the same level as what you do, and differentiate from that end, not from just innovation, but rather disruption than innovation. And my answer for the woman question, by default, you are considered to not be capable of doing what you are. Therefore, as a woman in this space, in blockchain industry, first you need to verify and show for everyone that you are capable to conduct the actions that you are doing. And after that, you will be taken seriously. However, it's definitely not an easy journey. It will take years, and it's definitely much harder in this industry and as well as in IT in general to be a woman. I would say around less than 5% of the founders in blockchain industry are and participants are women. Around 30% of everyone involved in the whole trading, building, developers, marketing are women, and it's very difficult, but find your unique selling points, find your problem statements, and value the problem statements in a manner that you bring your previous experience from cross industry experience into blockchain. In that way, you can definitely create value.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights, and best of luck with your journey. Now, the digital landscape at large is pulsing. It's driving the markets with innovations. Can you give us your expert insights on how AI and big data can help businesses expand and grow in the digital world?
Yes. So with AI, we can categorize and understand new gaps in the market that we weren't before. Therefore, AI used, for example, blockchain in supply chains gives us more understanding as well as prioritization of tasks that we should do, as well as divides tasks in segments that we didn't thought before. Therefore, I think it's very important to not just consider emerging technologies as separate, but put them together, such as, for example, IoT sensors to blockchain, and then AI to classify the algorithms based on what the technology works. Therefore, I would say that AI separately and big data separately, or those together, I think are just 10 or 20% of the fruit of as fruitful as they could be. However, combined them and making new solutions based on the data and categories of yielded from them, we create innovation that hasn't been possible before. However, taking in consideration that AI is still pretty new technology and big data that we have is still pretty structured around first world countries, we need to be mindful that we are not making misaligned decisions due to the fact that we actually lack of big data in certain regions of the world, which may lead us to conclude in decisions that are not including, for example, minorities, not including certain regions, and not understanding certain aspects of culture in our business correctly, due to the fact that it's mostly Western data now feeded in the algorithm, and therefore the decisions and results are pretty westernized. This happened to us while implementing our AI algorithm in Africa, because there wasn't enough data to feed for the algorithms.
Wow, thank you so much. I think that blockchain is a fantastic database facility, and it's been used as a database in some European countries even before Bitcoin was invented. So it's great to see that you found another application for blockchain as a database with its immutable abilities for such an important thing as gun control. I see big growth potential for your chain, and I hope it goes really well. Thank you so much for sharing your insights about big data and your experience in the digital world. As we start to wind up now, lastly, can you give us suggestions on how to build a successful fintech startup, please?
Yes. First of all, of course, the most important thing is that your legal and compliance team knows worldwide the aspect of regulations on your expansion plans, as well as your overall future mergers and acquisitions. Therefore, you have, first of all, clear compliance, and secondly, you have clear path on what are your next steps after your funding, after your expansion, and thirdly, that you have understanding of the rise of the competitive advantages of your competitors, due to the fact that as there are already larger players, you will know how to modify your internal services based on if they change their service aspect, and fourthly, to focus on concrete geographical regions, not considering everyone is my client, due to the fact that the finance behavior is very varied in. For example, I often hear that someone is expanding to Asia Pacific, and the customer behavior, for example, in countries such as Malaysia and Singapore is completely opposite, as well as Thailand and Philippines. Therefore, the geographical aspect of human behavior as well as consumption behaviors needs to be having in understanding and planned well. And fourthly, I would say foresight of the possible future scenarios of consumption habits, as well as targeting into certain age group, as well as certain niche interests, helps nowadays, due to the fact that already in the first and second world there are multiple key players in the industry which are which are taken vast majority of the niche markets. Therefore, there is still 1 billion people in this world who are unbanked, as well as 1 billion people who don't have access to identity. So opportunities for fintech are massive if we are able to build solutions that don't create extra layers, but rather take off existence layers in the payment processes.
Thank you so much. It's such a basic human right. We take it for granted that we have access to banks and monetary systems. It's amazing to think that 1 billion people in the world or more still don't even have that. And it's also quite eye-opening to see that not everyone in the digital world who works with tech is into blockchain. So at the moment, it's still quite a small minority who are into blockchain. So really appreciate your insights and your explainers into why blockchain is positive and the benefits it can provide. Thank you so much for joining us today. Sounds like you're well positioned working in Nigeria and India, where adoption of crypto and blockchain is being accepted at a rapid pace. Was there anything you'd like to share with us before we close off the discussion?
I would just like to invite you to explore that there are a lot of large challenges in the world, meaning that these challenges affect 500 million to 1 billion people, and we assume that everyone has already the capability to these technologies. We need to take point that large population yet have internet, not even speaking about access to money or access to identity or education. Therefore, I invite everyone to find out about problems that affect to 200 to 500 million people, and let's solve this together.
Fantastic. Sounds like a great mission that you're on. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your passion for what you do. Okay, well, that was Vilma Mattila, everyone. I hope you enjoyed our discussion. She shared some brilliant insights with us. She's the co-founder and CBO at Fire. Keep watching for more of these live expert talks and market insights. Till the next episode, stay apprised and invest wise with Kalkine Media.